Welcome to 1159 Videos. We're going to do a how-to tune-up on your AC system. It's getting hot outside, so everyone is starting to run AC more. One of the things you're going to want to do is, of course, pop under the hood, check your belt on your AC compressor, make sure it looks okay. The other thing, too, is on your older systems now, if you say your AC don't turn on, well, there's a couple of things you can try to get. Here's a little jumper wire right here, because we're going to jump the safety switch. I'm going to show you how to check on your safety switch to see if you're low on pressure, or like your freon is low. The other thing is, on the older vehicles, you might want to pick yourself up a little retrofit. You can change it out. The older ones were the R12. This was a 1990 Bronco 2, and it came with 2 pounds of R12. Well, that stuff's so expensive now, and here's a conversion kit. We can go ahead. You can't put it in if you still have R12 in there, but if it's already going to be converted over to a to the 134 system, all you do is open out one of the valves, make sure there's no pressure in there so that you can have a clean system. But we're going to do some checks on this to see if your AC is working and stuff. When this is rotating right here, okay, then the AC compressor is on. You'll hear it clicking on and off. That's working. Now, if it's coming on and off like it's supposed to, and it's kind of blowing hot air, more than likely you are low on freon, but just enough to turn on the safety switch. So let's go ahead and do a couple of checks real quick, and we're going to troubleshoot this one and see what we need. Now, another thing I want to touch base on real quick is people say high pressure side and the low pressure side, and you're like, what the heck? Well, here's a real simple way to tell the difference. This is one of the things you would use to actually fill it. So when you go to put it on this one right here, it doesn't go. That's the high pressure side, so you know that's not the one to go. The other one usually is going to be back close to where your dryer is anyways, so you would want to look for this little guy right here, and as you put this on, and as you see, it fits right on where it's put. That's the low pressure side. So this is the one that you're going to want to fill. This is your fill inlet tube. So that's one of the things you need to know. So let's go ahead. And the other thing too, if you've got a system that's leaking down, you want to pick up a can of this with a little bit of UV dye in it, and I've got one of the nifty little lights right here, and that bad boy sends out the ultraviolet, and you can find where you're leaking down at, because this stuff gets expensive quick, and if you take it to a shop, they'll charge you an arm and a leg. So let's go ahead and we're going to troubleshoot this and show you how to fix your own AC system and save some bucks. Now, since I won't be able to start the truck and talk and tell you anything about it, I will tell you this. Say you have your AC on, and as this is rotating, this part is not spinning, or if it's barely spinning, sometimes at a free spin, real slow. Okay, this is a pulley system up here. This is the compressor that actually engages, it electrifies and pulls in some magnets and then turns the compressor inside of here. So if this is not moving when you turn the AC on, could be low on pressure. So one of the things you want to check is you want to come over here, right where you fill the tube is, you want to look for where there's a switch. Well, this one is a switch here, and I've already unplugged it, and you see how it's a dual right there. So I usually will take a jumper, I was telling you about. I take this jumper right here, and I simply will jump the two together. So I jumper my switch just like that, and if you see how I did it, I just crossed the two between right there, and this plugs in right for the AC. That's your pressure side. So if you jump it right there, and this thing, you'll hear it click on, and this will be rotating at a high rate of speed. When you see that rotating, that means you're low on freon. I mean, that's a simple fix. So let's go ahead and fill this guy up, and let's see what we got. Now this one, the truck's going to be running, and I'm just going to go ahead and start filling it, and you'll see the compressor click on, and that's what you want to be looking for. When you see that going on, you're low on freon, and it'll run just enough so it sucks down the pressure up, and then the switch, and it tells it to shut off. So that's what that's doing right now. It's saying it's low on freon. Now, as you saw, the AC compressor was actually working. So one of the other things too, you can check for leaks. On the front, on the high pressure side, I went ahead and did the retrofit on here. Now sometimes you want to check and make sure the little valve in there isn't leaking. So you can put a little bit of water up in there, and if it's leaking, you'll see little air bubbles coming up, and there's no air bubbles on this one. Now you can do the same thing on the back one, but if you're still filling, you're gonna have to re-dry it back out. But you're gonna want to check these. I went ahead and put the retrofit on there. As you see, I used the UV coolant or freon so that we can check for any leaks. The other stuff you want to do is you want to kind of once over, because if you see it looking oily like this, when it's like that, that means it was coming out of something, and there is actually oil in your AC system. So I went ahead in this one right here, I changed out an O-ring inside of here and retightened it back up. Now that I have the O-ring changed and I have the UV dye in the system and I have the ultraviolet light, I can come back through and check and make sure it's not leaking. You want to check over your AC compressor and make sure you don't see anything wet looking where it's leaking. So we're going to go ahead and finish filling this one up, but this is not all that I'm going to cover on the AC system. I have a Honda coming up that we're going to do from scratch, including installing the compressor and recharging the system, vacuuming it down, and everything else. So stop back by and check out the other AC videos that are about to be coming out. 11:59 videos out.